and thank you for joining us for another Leadership Talk. The topic of today's discussion is customer support versus customer success. My name is David Green, and I serve as the Senior Content Marketing Manager here at Contacto. I am joined here today by two very special guests from Plivo, the #1 rated cloud communications platform as ranked by G2 Crowd. Let's start with Renu, a frequent guest here on our Leadership Talks. Renu, would you care to introduce yourself?
Hi, David. Hi. I'm Renu, and I have been with Plivo for a little over 6 years now. I joined as one of the shift managers, managing 1 out of 3 shifts that we have, and then now I'm leading the entire support function, which consists of both Americas and the international team.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Next up, we have Brad. Brad, would you care to introduce yourself as well?
Absolutely. Hey, David. I am a senior customer success manager here at Plivo, and I have been with Plivo a little over 2 years now.
Excellent. Thank you both very much. With that, let's go ahead and jump right in with the basics first. So my first question for you both is, what is customer support and what is customer success? Renu, since we started with customer support, why don't you go ahead?
Sure. I think the best way to define it would be any resources that are provided by an organization to address the needs, questions, concerns of its customer comes under the umbrella of customer support. So everything from an FAQ section on a website to a phone number that you see where you can contact a customer support agent and talk to them. All of this comes under the purview of support.
Awesome. Great. And Brad, would you mind giving us some insight into what customer success is?
Yep. So customer success is essentially helping our customers achieve their goals to use a product or service. So it's about building strong relationships with our customers, understanding their needs, providing them with the support and guidance they need to be successful. So in this case, our team's dedicated to ensuring our customers are successfully using Plivo, and we're giving them exactly what they need and what they're looking for.
Great. Wonderful. Thank you so much for the explanations. I guess my first question based on this is really just kind of digging into some of the challenges that you face in each of these functions. Renu, would you mind giving us some insight into some of the day-to-day challenges of customer support?
Sure. The biggest challenge that we see is the unpredictable number of requests that could come in on a day-to-day basis. And that could change because of so many factors. It could change because there was a new release and that introduced a bug in the system, which is why customers are not able to use the product how they wanted to. It could be because one of the vendors that you're working with, their system had some sort of issue. Now our customers are facing something because of that. It could just be because of a product change that happened or a regulation change that happened. Usually all the teams have a certain number of people, and sometimes the number of requests go down, which means that you have more time to respond to each customer ticket, pay more attention to what they require, handle it as effectively as possible. However, if you are receiving too many tickets and that goes on for too long, that also impacts the quality of response or quality of resolution, or maintaining just what is the quality of resolution that's going out to the customer. So I just feel like that is one of the biggest challenge that we face. Apart from them, usually a support team has high number of team members, which means that planning trainings around availability. Most teams have teams which are located in different geolocations. So planning a training or a refresher training becomes challenging because you only have limited time windows that you could do it in. If you are hiring and retention, a person serves a notice and they're out of the organization within 2 weeks or 2 months, depending on where you are. However, you need to interview candidates, they need some time to join. And then by the time they complete the training or they're confident on the products, it takes anywhere between 0 to 6 months for a support agent to become comfortable with the product and not require any help. So I think it's mostly around managing a large team and ensuring that all of them are aware about the product and services at the same level, and ensuring continuous trainings and refreshers are happening to ensure that we are able to provide the quality of service to our customers. These would be some of the challenges that we face on a day-to-day basis, which end up being escalations if not done properly.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That provides some great insight into your world. Brad, I would love to hear some of the same challenges and information about customer success.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So, I guess just naturally everyone's pretty busy, has a busy schedule. So that's, appears to be one of the biggest challenges, is just like trying to get client engagement and responsiveness. So obviously, we're creating value, doing all these things, but at times customers just become unresponsive. They're busy. They might be running through a sprint with product development, things like that. So, in order for us to understand exactly what the customer needs and what they're looking, how they're looking to use Plivo, maybe in a different way, or ensuring that they're using it, you know, to fulfill all of their goals, we need to be able to have that regular engagement, have cadence discussions, and it can be a challenge at times, just depending on how busy the customers are and what they're doing at that time. Along with that, I would say ongoing just regulation changes in our industry. And coming from a background on being in customer success teams in a different industry other than CPaaS, I can speak to, I think it's just change in general is a challenge for customers, right?
Mhm.
No matter if it's in CPaaS or logistics or, whatever it may be, change is tough. And customers, have a tough time with that. But, that's why we're here, is to be able to be that, resource to give them, the information, try to stay ahead of these updates, get the information to product so they can make product changes and developments and things like that. So, yeah, I would say those two are key challenges, I would say.
Got it. Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, I feel like that definitely gives me better insight into both functions. Which kind of brings me to my next question: is really how does customer support and customer success, how do they complement each other, and what's kind of the overlap there, especially as it pertains to your current roles at Plivo?
Both of these functions go hand in hand, right? You're talking to the same customer. So customer support has more insights about what kind of issues is the customer running on a day-to-day basis while using the product. We are more aware about a customer sentiment because they were not able to use a product, so they send an email in which it's clear that it's impacting their business and they're upset. Customer success knows more about the business, the use case, how they are using a product or a service or Plivo, and so they have more insights about the business and use case. If both of these merge, so for example, at Plivo we use our CRM, which is Salesforce, and pull information of our customers. So before a customer support starts to work on a ticket, they know who the customer is, who the CSM is, and if they want to know more about a ticket, they could reach out to the relevant CSM and gather more information before responding to a ticket. So the response becomes more personalized. It's not a generic response that we would send to any customer. Since customer success has more and if customer success gets that insight from support on how a customer sentiment has been while they are interacting with customer support, they could use and leverage that to build long-term relationships. If they know that the customer has a great experience, that really can leads to customer success focusing on just building on the relationship versus getting into discussions about how unhappy a customer is and then firefighting in that situation. If customer success can handhold the customer more on the day-to-day operations changes that are happening with product, with process, that leads support to focus on the issues that they're facing versus tackling with customers' unhappiness about something. So I feel like they go really close and hand in hand. And if both of us are able to share the information that we are receiving, it gives us a lot of insight and builds us to manage that customer's experience.
Awesome. Okay, I see. Brad, is that kind of in line with your thoughts as well?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the way I think of it is that customer support is essentially our technical break fix or troubleshooting backbone for customer success. Like without them as without customer support as a resource, customers wouldn't have anywhere to, well, I mean, they'd have to find a different outlet to get their items and their technical break fix items looked into. Because I'll be honest, like I can't be an expert in the technical side and troubleshooting issues. And I don't, I mean, that is customer support's expertise. And like Renu
Mm.
said, we can drive the customer relationship, the sentiment, and be the experts there. Like, it's the way I think of it is, in baseball, you know, generally speaking, the pitcher is not going to be the best hitter, right? Like, the best hitter
Mm.
is going to focus on hitting, honing in that expertise, and the best pitcher is going to be, working on what pitches they're throwing. So that's, customer support's going to focus on really being the best at troubleshooting and fixing the technical aspects of what's wrong. And customer success is going to focus on the relationship building, long term, success and sentiment with the customer. So yeah.
Got it. Okay, yeah, that definitely helps, and I appreciate the analogy to baseball. I think that putting it into terms for someone like myself who hasn't been in the nitty gritty of your day to day really helps. So with that, actually, it kind of leads me to my next question of what are some of the common misconceptions that are out there about customer support and customer success?
Well, the first one is that support is a cost center for a business, and maybe directly it is, because unlike other teams, sales, customer success, we cannot sign contracts with the customer and have them spend direct revenue on support. You can, with support plans, but that's probably the limitation that you have, or that's your scope. However, I feel like after you've onboarded a customer, support becomes one of the primary factors in a customer's journey to decide whether they want to continue with this business or not. They do care about price, they do care about product stability, but also they do care about if they have a question, can that be answered? If they run into an issue, is there someone that I can reach out and would I get immediate help or not? And I feel like with which so there's no direct impact that we are doing to the revenue, but I think there's a lot of indirect impact that happens. Also, that customer support, I feel like, is a great tool for marketing, which is not someone thinks about. A positive customer interaction. If a customer has a positive customer interaction, they become a flag bearer for your company or product, right? So I feel like both of these are things when someone talks about support, they don't think about these. But I feel like customer support does impact the overall experience and hence impacts whether they have a positive word of mouth for your product or not, and whether they continue to sign up and continue with your product.
Absolutely. And I love the point that you made about marketing. Myself being a marketer and understanding kind of what a positive impact a good customer experience can have. They really are your greatest advocates. And so making sure that customers are happy really is a really powerful component of marketing and branding for a business. So I'm really glad that you pointed that out. Brad, do you have any misconceptions you'd like to clear up about the world of customer success?
Yeah, sure. I think customer success can commonly be mistaken as like a customer service functionality. And
Mhm.
the way I think about customer service is, you walk into a retail store and there's like a register bank and a sign above it that says customer service. And me as a customer, I have to walk up to them to get, the service that I need, or to, return my item, or so on and so forth. Similar to, like, you publish on a website customer service line, call 1-800, and, you the customer are the one that's having to call in and make that initial outreach. So, with customer success is proactive in nature. So, as a customer success manager, I'm proactively looking for ways to help my customer improve and achieve their goals, right? So, I'm not waiting for the customer to come to me. I'm proactively engaging them and reaching out. And along with that, there's, another misconception is that I am the only, or like CSMs or customer success managers are the only component of customer success. And there's many more layers to it than that, right? Like, we have solution engineers that, come on for technical calls and our technical support and that side, and customer support. And we have executive sponsors for, alignment across the organization. So there's several layers to customer success other than just, a CSM as a point of contact. So
Of course. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And, just given going back to Renu's point about what an advocate, good customer experience can create, and the proactivity that comes with being in customer success. I think that that's such an important thing. And so seeing how those two things intermingle together is a really powerful component to, you know, the overall experience with a brand. So that actually kind of, the customer relationship is a really important piece. And you guys kind of touched on this, but I wanted to expand further. How do each of these functions specifically enhance the customer relationship?
Sure. Yeah, I can start with that one.
Great.
So customer success, it shows that you really care about the customer, right? And like when you're proactively reaching out to customers to help them achieve their goals, it shows that you're invested in their success and invested in their organization. Like I always, like to say to my customers, think of me as an extension of your organization itself. Like I am an advocate for you. I want you to succeed. I'm not just looking out for Plivo's best interest. I'm looking out for my customer, and that helps build trust and loyalty, which is essential to build strong customer relationships. I think customer success also, it provides value to the customer, and the value goes just beyond the product or service that we're giving them. It includes the expertise, the support, and the guidance that we're giving them to help them achieve their goals, right? So that enhances the customer relationship to a whole nother level. And like Renu said earlier, and we touched on this a few times, it creates customer advocacy. Like when you engage with a client, you have a strong relationship with them, they're happy with Plivo, and we continue to have a long-term strong relationship. They're more likely to recommend Plivo to other organizations they're involved with. They might go to a trade show or a conference, and the conversation of a CPaaS provider comes up, and if we've had a relationship and it's a strong relationship, we're going to come to the top of the list for them. So, customer advocacy, I feel like, is one of the most powerful marketing tools that we might have, and word of mouth, and ensuring that we're successful and we're hyper focused on our customers helps our customer advocacy, be strong and be better across the board. So, yeah.
Awesome. Great. Yeah. Thank you so much, Brad. Renu, do you have any follow up to that as well?
Yeah, sure. With respect to support, it's slightly different compared to customer success, right? It's more reactive.
Yeah.
Brad mentioned customer success is more proactive. However, each of these reactive or each of the issue that the customer reaches out also becomes a way for you to gather customer feedback on what's happening, as we mentioned, on a day-to-day basis. An organization can use these interactions to gather to find information or trends as to what are the products or features that the customer finds really hard to use, or what are the ones that they find easy to use. What about our product do they like? What about our product do they not like? And if we are able to provide, and given all the other things that we've mentioned, which is it's easy to reach out to support, it's easy for them to receive a response from support, it's easy for them for support to understand and resolve their issue and communicate transparently. But if you do all of those things right, you also have an opportunity to you have so much data as to and you can apply all of that data and feedback to your product strategy, and you can really build on what you're doing well, but also on what you're not doing well as an organization, and you can fix that. And it could be as small as a communication going out, or a product launch or as big as a product launch that's happening. But I feel like customer support, there's no one interacts with the customer more than a support team. And if you utilize all of this information and interaction in the right way, it can become a great tool to define your business strategy.
Absolutely. Okay, great. Yeah, that gives a lot of great insight into how each of your functions have grown to view the customer relationship, and understanding just overall the impact that you have in that. So, speaking of the customer, you guys are both seasoned veterans in your respective roles. So I figured I'd go ahead and ask, How have the evolving expectations of modern customers changed the functions of your roles? So really, as time has gone on and customers have changed and the customer relationship has changed, how has that evolved your specific role and the expectations that they have?
Yeah, I think over the years, customer success has become more proactive. It's just in what the modern customer is expecting. I mean, 10 years ago in customer success, it was generally more reactive, right? Even with other teams in place like customer support and things like that, customer success still really didn't have the focus to be as proactive as we are. So, I guess reaching out to customers before they have problems, or before there's product releases, before there's regulation changes, offering help, offering guidance. This is now what modern customers expect in companies, and they expect to have a point of contact to help guide them, and again, help be their advocate and try to help them make the best decision for their company, right? So I would say with that too, it's become more personalized. Customer success is focused on tailoring the experience to each specific client. We're taking the time to understand their needs and their goals, and we're giving them the experience based on those goals and expectations. So, and I guess the last point would be that um, data. I think data wins. Data is king. Like everything is more data driven now. You know, 5, 10 years ago, having data, sitting down in a business review or having data was starting to come up, but um, now it has to be there, and there has to be relevant points in the conversation that is backed up by data. So, we're using data to track customer usage, identify patterns, predict potential problems, and we're communicating that to our customers. So again, on the personalized point, like every customer has different expectations. They might have different KPIs, measure different things. So, customizing the data and the presentation to them is critical, and that's what the customer expects now, I feel like.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm glad that you brought up data as far as the customer experience goes overall. That's a question I'm definitely going to want to dig further into in just a moment as well. But Renu, I would also love to hear how the modern customer expectation has changed as far as customer support goes.
Um, in so many ways, I do not think support used to have a seat on the table. And, it was one of the key stakeholders until 10, 15 years ago. Support is something that customers received information. You have this number to call if you run into any issues. But no one was really focused on improving the quality of responses that were going out to the customers. All of that has changed because of customer expectations. It's because customers started to say, I will buy your product only if I get all of these things. And that made businesses to go back and think about their support strategy. One of the points that Brad made was about personalization. Support was not personalized. We did not have information about a history for a customer. How long have they been a customer for? Have they raised similar issues in the past? How are they interacting with us? We did not have any of this information. Now we have this information, but we also use this information. So I feel like it has pushed support to do more, be more personalized, faster response times, quickly able to resolve issues, but at the same time, for support to become way more relevant than it was until a couple of years ago. And all of that I think, is because of a push from customers and not from businesses.
Got it. Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and I imagine that the modernization of technologies also similarly changed the landscape of things as well. So, how has that really impacted your day to day?
In so many ways, even for it's I think it's the how to use technology that has changed the most, because for a support center to work and function, they needed to be some sort of technology in place. People should be able to reach out or call a service center or should be able to email. But now we have the ability to provide multiple channels of support to a customer, which is something that was not a concept until a couple of years ago. Now you have the ability, while you're talking to a customer, you can also reach out to your engineering team simultaneously. I can also reach out to the CSM of the account simultaneously. So I am able to multitask internally to resolve a customer's issue. This is something that was not a concept as well. Remote work, support teams really needed to be at one location to be able to work. Now we have laptops, we can research, Google. People in support teams used to have, I remember when I started out in this industry, all I had was access to a couple of screens. I really could not log out of those screens and do anything apart from what was available to me. But right now I can Google, if someone says I'm facing a downtime, I can Google, is there any issue happening in this location because of which this may be happening? And I can go back to the customer. So I think it's how much of it you can use on your day-to-day basis, and the freedom to use technology that has changed how support looks today or for customers.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, that's some very great, some excellent insight into how modern technology is really changing your day to day. Brad, what about in the world of customer success?
Yeah, I think, without technology, we wouldn't be able to be as proactive or as personalized or as data driven as we are, like I mentioned in on the last question. Um, I just think having the ability to, um, use technology to pull reports and to present that data and to customize it and tailor it. I mean, it allows us to do all of those things and fulfill those expectations. I think historically there was a large focus on intuition and gut feeling, but now using technology we can take the data and be more data driven and back up those gut feelings or the intuition that we have, and make the customer feel confident. I would say too, like, and Renu touched on this a little bit, but I look at it as like technology allows us to be more scalable. Um, in the past, just by structure and expectations, we were a bit limited on, one, how many customers we could support, but also the personnel that we have on our team, right? Like the expectation for customer success in the past was, you have, your operations team, which is next to your customer success team, which is next to your sales team, which, is across the hall from your customer support team. With technology now, we're able to, expand our reach and, have members across the world. And I think,
Sure.
That's just, it's things like this, like video meetings, recordings, just the change to go virtual has allowed customer success to really help scale our teams and also scale, the amount and the type of customers that we support. So.
Absolutely. And, going based off of both of you mentioned how technology has really made it possible to perform your functions in so many ways in so many different places. And I'm sure that also creates an interconnectivity that allows customers to always feel like they have access to someone in their time of need, which I'm sure is a great benefit to both of your functions. I do have just one or two more questions for you guys, and then I'll wrap up here. I want to respect your time, but this is really a two-part question. Going back to the concept of how data is impactful in your day-to-day, how are each of your teams using data to elevate the customer experience? And how are the key performance indicators of each of your functions measured? Renu, we can go ahead and start with you.
Sure. Yes. We spoke about this, on our last webinar as well.
Yes.
My team specifically, or we at Plivo use data extensively for everything that we do. The first thing that I do at the end of the month is to just pull out a report and look at the type of questions that we've received. We have different product that we offer to customers. That's where we start. Then we look at, can we automate some of the things, that the kind of questions that we've been receiving? We looked at how many tickets, out of how many tickets that we received, how many were we able to resolve within the first response. How many did we took 5 days to resolve? How many did we take 10 days to resolve? And then we are able to deep dive into figuring out, why did it take us 10 days to resolve this question? Was it an issue because of us? Was it because our product? Was it because of one of the vendors that we use? So we use it extensively for even defining what our KPIs should be, and then because that interaction, all of these interactions just give us a lot of direction as to which direction should we move. Do we need to hire more people, or do we need to just work with our product team to automate some of the features because it seems like it's a pain point for our customer? And I make it a point to send it across to all the stakeholders, to product, to engineering, to customer success, just so that they could also see into what our customers are feeling, what our customer sentiment is, and then prioritize our roadmap basis the information or the data that we have. And we've made significant processes from in the last 6 years. At one point, customers needed to reach out to support to even close their account, and then we continue to highlight that, hey, we've received 200 tickets just about this. I don't think this is something that they really need to struggle with. Let's automate this process. So even changing a small process like this is because we are going back, looking into what we are doing, and then making sure that we continue to enhance our products, which ultimately leads to enhancement with customer experience.
Got it. Okay, yeah, that's great information. Thank you so much. Brad, do you have anything that you'd like to add on as far as how data is instrumental in how you engage with customers, and what sort of key performance indicators have come out of that in the world of customer success?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, using data to identify trends and then, sharing those trends with the customer, I think just helps elevate the conversations that we have, and it'll raise questions and comments. Like, for instance, if a customer starts using a new feature within our platform that emphasizes cost savings, for instance, or deliverability, right? Like, being able to pull that data after a week and go back to the customer and say, hey, this is how much you saved by enabling this feature, because you reduced, your undelivered messages by XYZ, right? Or coming back and say, hey, by, making this enhancement, here's a report on your deliverability over the last month, versus last month. Look at the improvement, right? And it's in the data. Being able to have that as a resource to take to customer just really helps them understand what they need to helps the customer understand what they need to do to continue to be better and improve their process, but also, helps them trust us in terms of we're monitoring and we're making sure that they're getting value out of the relationship. And I think of three key performance indicators being price, price and product performance being two that the customer really thinks about frequently, right? I mean, cost for most every company is one of the top two or three discussion topics, right? And you got to be cost effective in what you're doing. And we got to be able to measure that and have discussions around that. And then product performance. So I think of that as SMS deliverability, voice call connection rates. We couldn't have the confident conversations with our customers without the data to support what we're doing. So, like, having the data on successful call connections and successful deliverability is crucial to be able to talk to our customers about product performance. And then the last, it all rolls up into customer satisfaction, right? Is the customer satisfied? And that's on Plivo as a whole, as a team, right? It comes into customer success, customer support. If it's all of our goals to make sure the customer is satisfied in what they're doing. So that I would say would be another KPI that is critical. So yeah.
Awesome. Okay, great. Yeah, that's really awesome information to have. I thank you both so much for your time here, and I feel like I have a much improved understanding of both the worlds of customer support and customer success, and kind of how they interact with really developing that customer relationship with our brand, with all brands. So thank you both so much for your time. Is there anything else before we go that you guys would like us to know about your function that you'd like to share with the world about what customer success or customer support really achieves?
Um,
I
Go
sorry,
ahead,
go ahead.
Renu. No, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, going along with what we are discussing today, that both the teams are just to a customer, they are just extensions of each other. A great onboarding experience leads to the customer knowing about what they need to do after they've been onboarded, and if they run into issues, if we are continuing, if support continues to see that there's a recurring issue that the customer is facing, going back to customer success and strategizing on how to deal with this customer, what should we go back, what should be our action plan. I feel like both of these functions together lead to a really great experience for the customer. If we do not collaborate well, this could easily lead to a situation where the customer just feels like he does not have anyone that could help them out, just because if we just look at our own windows and are just working with the customer, we would never have the complete picture. And both of these functions put together, I feel like they give us a really broad overview of what's happening and what do we need to do to ensure that whatever the customer is asking for us, we're able to provide it for them.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree and echo that point in that, as we go through this discussion, Renew and I, we might have answered questions a little bit differently, right? And there's different focus on support and different focus on customer success. And although they might appear siloed, there is a very strong blend between the two. And one could not be what it is without the other, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And it's there's constant communication and interaction and just we need to be able to rely on customer support, and customer support needs to be able to rely on us. So there's a big sense of trust between the two, and it's a very cohesive team, I would say, in that sense. And I guess the other thing is, I would say don't be hesitant to share feedback with customer success, right? Or even customer support.
Mm-hmm.
We as Plivo and myself as a member of the customer success team, always eager and interested to learn on how we can be better and how we can do better. So open, honest feedback, open, honest lines of communication. It helps us, better function, and it helps, I guess, better enhance the customer relationship. So, yeah.
Amazing. Thank you both so much. I really appreciate it. Brad, appreciate it. Renew. Look forward to both of you hopefully joining us again for another one of these in the future. But in the meantime, I hope that you guys both have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks, David.
Awesome.
Thanks, Renew.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Talk soon.
Bye.